It's a beautiful day to be alive. Well, I wasn't always this way. How do you like that? That's a little better, right? I was the second runner-up for Woody Harrelson's character in Cheers. There was another guy in front of me. It was really neck and neck between me and this other guy. I think Woody Harrelson pretty much had it nailed, but we were like pinch hitters, I suppose, or understudies in case. I didn't get it. I mean, I didn't even get the understudy. And the guy who got the understudy, I was just watching a documentary about him. He turned out to be quite a character in his own right. Kind of a blessing that he didn't get the role, because check out what happened with him. His name is Timothy Treadwell. He was the Grizzly Man. Yeah, so he lost out to Woody Harrelson, got really alcoholic, and then had a heroin overdose because of a heroin addiction. Really down and out. And he eventually went to the Alaskan Peninsula and started caretaking bears. Bear-taking cares. And he was out there for 13 years. And Werner Herzog made a documentary on him. Believe that he died, Timothy Treadwell died, 2003. He had been out there for 13 years with the Grizzlies. And the Grizzly ate him and his girlfriend. Yeah. When I was watching the documentary, I kept asking myself, how is this guy really caretaking the bears? Other people thought he had a death wish. He had an infantile energy to him. Yeah, really infantile, the way that he talked to the bears and to the foxes and to the camera. He's like a little kid. And it's easy, very easy to pathologize people like that, who suffer tremendously and find some kind of quixotic enterprise to alleviate their pain, when really it's all about them and not so much, in this case, about the bears. And it's quite easy to see that. And then when you're watching the documentary, you're like watching your judgments of the documentary, or really of Timothy Treadwell. What a pathetic guy. I mean, he beat me out for Woody Harrelson's character. I can't even remember Woody's name in Cheers. Was it Woody? They were like, hey, that's such a great name. You don't need to change your own. Woody. I don't even know why I was third place, because if you just look at the way that I am not even close to that kind of temperament and persona. I'd be behind the bar. People order a gin martini. I'd be like, what kind of gin do you want? Do you want Bombay Sapphire? Tanqueray? So I don't think I would be good for the humor element of Cheers if I were ever cast, and I think it's probably better that I wasn't cast. Anyways, I had a conversation with Timothy Treadwell afterwards, and he was crushed. I was like, it's just a role, man. There are other things to do with your life. And he's like, I'm like, Timothy, it's at the end of the world. I want to go take care of bears. I want to go take care of bears. So he goes, he takes care of bears. I think he's a little spastic, a little desperate, but who am I to judge? If you think closely about your own pathetic life, and that's not a judgment, what are you not doing that you really want to do? Are you a fan of candy canes? Do you want to build an entire house made out of candy canes, but you're scared of what the neighbors are going to think? You know, people think that maybe he was involved in some kind of fantasy, Timothy. But he was devastated. I've met people who are similarly devastated by life. They don't quite resonate with the narratives that are available to them. They give it their best with the narratives available to them. And then they're like, fuck it. And they throw their hands up in despair and they go off and take care of a bear. So, after I didn't get the role of Woody in Cheers, I had to figure out what I was doing, and I felt again like I was another runner-up, like to Timothy again. He goes off, he takes care of the bears, and I'm here, and not knowing what to do with my life, because the narrative that was available to me at the time, being a Hollywood actor, fell through. It just dissolved. And frankly, I got tired because my agent was always trying to have sex with me, and that wasn't cool. So I was done, and I had nothing to do with my life. And I saw Timothy flying off to Alaska, or probably hitchhiking because he didn't have any money. And I thought maybe, I wanted the recognition, because once you get that close to tasting recognition, you're like, I need it. It becomes your drug, your narcotic, really. So I thought to myself, how can I get attention? I almost had that attention. Timothy's off taking care of the grizzlies. That's when I had the idea of buying a plot of land and building a candy cane house. Licking the candy canes is like cement. You put them together. And if you would just really imagine it right now, take a moment to imagine it, then you could see that living in a candy cane house would be Christmas all year long. And it's bright. The sunlight catches the white and the red, and there's a sparkly pink. And of course, there's all sorts of little Christmas candy diadems everywhere, but it's primarily candy canes. And it's in L.A. with the palm trees, and the women in the bikinis, and the roller skates, and the people with the boom boxes and the afros. And then they come up, and everybody wants to be someone who can come into the candy cane house. And I'm like, hold on there. And people are like, are you the person who was like runner-up to the runner-up for Cheers? I'm like, yeah, but I got a new thing going now. How do you like my candy cane house? How do you like it? You want to come in? You can't come in. You gotta wait, because I'm the important one now. There's a waiting list. Put your name on the waiting list. It's gonna take 2 years to come into the candy cane house. And you can imagine, it was always expanding. I had a lot to compensate for. Okay? I had been chewed up and spit out by Hollywood. I was a nobody, nothing, ne'er-do-well loser. And then I created my candy cane house, my year-round perennial Christmas phenomenon in the middle of LA. You couldn't get into my candy cane house unless you were an A-list celebrity, because you know what happens if you're an A-list celebrity. You got all the time in the world on your hand between movies, and so you're always going around looking for the new thing. The next best new thing. The next best new revolutionary thing. The next best new revolutionary, mind-bending, extravagant, illustrious, extraordinary, tremendous, fascinating, marvelous, magnificent, astronomically cool thing. That was my candy cane house. And when people came to the candy cane house, I got to be me. I got to be the showman. I got to walk around like Mr. Important. Hi. Welcome to the candy cane house. Who are you? Are you important? Oh, you're not important enough. Who wants to kiss my ass the most and get in through the front door? I'm Mr. Candy Cane. Oh, yeah. I didn't quite get that role on Cheers. My buddy, he's up in Alaska taking care of the bears, but look at me now. And look at you. You're 45th on the waiting list. It's gonna take a while. It's gonna take 3 days. How important do you feel right now? I'm important. I'm important. And guess what? I've got a friend. He's up in Alaska. He's hanging out with the grizzlies. I'm important by association. And when I get a room big enough, which probably be in a week, because all these people are buying tickets, when I get a room big enough, I'm going to tell my friend, Timothy Treadwell, Grizzly Man, come down here with a grizzly, and he's going to be in the back room with a grizzly, sleeping with a grizzly. And you're going to come in, and you're going to go right up to that door, and you're going to look in, and you're going to see the most mind-bending, far-out craziness. You're going to see a human being sleeping right next to a grizzly. I don't even have an agent anymore. I'm that popular, I'm that powerful, I'm that influential. I don't even have an agent. I don't need an agent. Agents come to me, and I represent agents to other people. I've turned it all upside down, and I've flipped the script. I went from nobody to someone so influential and powerful that I have a waiting list for A-list celebrities. I have another waiting list for the people behind the scenes, the people who come in through the back door, anonymous, with hoodies. And listen, you don't touch the candy canes unless I tell you can touch the candy canes. You gotta pay extra if you're gonna lick the candy canes. And some people, they have the silver pass. There's the gold pass, the silver pass, the platinum pass, the diamond pass. There's all levels of passes. I made it up. I didn't get the role that I wanted, and I said, F you, Hollywood. I'm gonna do what I need to do to make up for you not giving me my dreams. I'm like a god now. I'm like a god. No one messes with me, and if you want something done in Hollywood, you come to me. I am Mr. Candy Cane Man, and man, my house is humongous. I'm branching out. I'm making a mansion of candy canes, multiple levels, subterranean levels. And I haven't really gone public with this yet, but let me tell you, give you a sneak preview of what is to come. I have a rocket in the backyard. It's on a candy cane launching pad. And what's the rocket made of? You guessed it. Candy canes. So where are you now, Hollywood? Hey, you and me both. We're both glad I didn't land that role on Cheers. We're both glad that second guy on the list, he's up in Alaska taking care of bears. He'll be down next week, me and my buddy Timothy Treadwell. What you up to, Woody Harrelson? Where are you now? How you like me now, Mr. Candy Cane? Mr. Candy Cane. That's what they call me. Now, one thing that I have thought about a lot is how to be remembered throughout history, how to be immortalized by the textbooks. See, I thought about kids, sick kids, not just sick adults, but sick kids. They bring them into the candy cane house, they walk around, they feel better. No more cancer. No more that, all those diseases that you hear about that afflict children. Gone. I haven't done the research. I just know that there are a lot of childhood sicknesses that could be easily alleviated by a tour of the candy cane house. Theoretically, it makes total sense. Empirically, betcha, it's gonna be a riot. I'm gonna have kids coming in from all over the world. There's gonna be an A-list, celebrity, waiting list, behind the scenes waiting list of the powers that be, and a children's list. And the way that I'm going to become historically immortal is I'm going to let in the children first, because there is that aphorism. You can judge a man's character by what he does for people who do nothing for him, how he treats the people who do nothing for him. Although, to be perfectly honest with you, I am treating the children better because I'm going to get a place in the history books. So technically they're doing something for me. But aside from that point, no one's really going to pay attention to that. I have thought that men who achieve significant lives are men who take drastic steps, drastic measures in the face of adversity, in the face of loss, in the face of challenge, in the face of defeat, in the face of failure. There's nobody doing what I'm doing anywhere on the planet. How many people do you know who build a candy cane house? They go and they buy a plot of land in some of the most expensive real estate in the world, Hollywood. And then, systematically using their own saliva and candy canes, which is effectively sugar, they erect the candy cane house. Day by day. Week by week, month by month, with multiple rooms. I walk through my candy cane house and I am blown away by the magnitude of each and every room. All the candy there and the gifts that people bring. Again, all over the world, people are coming and putting in gifts. I have to say no. I have a charity box out in the front yard for your gifts, because I can't take anymore. I just can't. I can't. And, forget Santa Claus. It's Mr. Candyman. Candy Cane Man, excuse me. So I have plans. I have basically turned the failure into total cosmic lemonade. Whatever lemons you give me, I'm going to turn them into lemonade. Right? And this just expands. Because once you get knocked on your ass, once you get struck by the lightning that totally fries you, and you're there, and you're just annihilated with despair, with existential self-concern, with nihilistic self-involvement, and you try to find a way to reinvent yourself and take yourself to the next level. Well, once you really get a hold of that entire mindset, once you realize you can exploit that mindset infinitely, oh man, then you're equipped, right? Because I got big ideas, right? I know now that I've done this, I've weaponized my imagination for the benefit of mankind. I said to myself, I have been thoroughly trumped by reality. I couldn't go any lower. I'm in the basement of hell, as I like to say, taking the devil's shat on me. So what do? I take my show to the road. I tell everybody how to rebuild themselves after colossal defeat. And I mean colossal defeat. Look at my friend. Timothy Treadwell, up there with the bears, 13 summers, an Alaskan peninsula, taking care of grizzlies, befriending foxes. What? And we've maintained our friendship. We were really competitive one time. It was like Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. Courtship of rivals. We went head to head because we didn't know if Woody Harrelson would accept the role. So we figured one of us had to win out and get second place in case Woody said no. But we became friends. Like rams. Butting heads, butting horns. And so, yeah, he's going to come down next week. He's going to bring a grizzly with him. You know what's really crazy about it? Crazy about Timothy Treadwell? Because he did the same thing that I did. Same thing. We were ruined. And then we became ninjas. We were wizards. Right? Boom, 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 boom. He's going to bring a grizzly through the airport. He's trained this grizzly, not even through any kind of violent means, coercive measures. No. He's got such a simpatico with this bear, his favorite bear. And he's going to basically bring the bear from the Alaskan Peninsula into like Anchorage or Juneau or wherever, probably Anchorage. And he's going to fly the grizzly in a jet down to LA. He has trained that wild grizzly through loving kindness, through mutual respect, through honoring the integrity of this wild, free being, this uncivilized force of nature. Timothy is going to bring that grizzly to LA. The grizzly's going to sit in his own chair, or probably two chairs, on a jet. He's going to go through the metal detector in the airport. And when they're scanning, you know how you go into that big cylindrical thing, tube, and it goes around you like that, scans you? The grizzly's going to do that with his claws and his teeth. And Timothy's going to come down. We're going to hang. We're going to go around LA. The grizzly's going to come. It's not even going to be on a leash. Not that that would matter. If you've trained a grizzly, you're not going to use a leash because the grizzly could do whatever it wanted if it were untrained. A leash would be superfluous. We know this. That is obvious. Now, what I haven't told you is I haven't explained to you the grizzly. The grizzly is the next level that Timothy and I are trying to bring to Hollywood. Because what we did is precedented. You know, there's unprecedented and then there's precedented. And what I haven't really shared with people is that the process that Timothy and I underwent is fairly intelligible. We're rejected and we resurrect. But our next act together is something the world has truly never seen and will garner us a place both in the history books. And it has to do with the grizzly. Because Timothy did something rather extraordinary. He went into the wild and befriended a ferocious creature. And now he's bringing the ferocious creature into civilization. And because Timothy and I are close friends, I told him that I would cooperate in his experiment, and I would have a place for the grizzly at the Candy Cane house, the Candy Cane mansion. And what's more, I would afford a chair, an honorary chair on the rocket, the Candy Cane rocket, for the grizzly, because only me, Timothy, and the grizzly will be flying in the candy cane rocket, because only the three of us truly understand each other. In order to fly a candy cane rocket, you really gotta have a lot of intimacy, a connection with your co-pilots. So, how are we going to do it? How am I going to communicate with a grizzly in a candy cane rocket? Me and Timothy, we're okay. We're buddies. I guess I gotta spend a lot of time with the grizzly. And I try to find out how to understand the interior of the grizzly. Because if I can understand it, then I can communicate with it. And we can fly the telepathic rocket candy cane together. So, Timothy, what is your grizzly friend's name, by the way? Timothy? You want to tell me what your grizzly friend's name is? Yeah. Her name is Marie. Oh, I'm so sorry, Marie. Hi. I thought you were a he, Marie, but you're not, and I'm sorry that I... Marie. Hey, Marie, just be nice. Be nice to him. Be nice. Just be nice. So, guys, I'm really excited. Nobody has flown in a candy cane rocket ever, and I am really, really excited and happy that the three of us are gonna be flying. I just don't know where we're gonna be flying. Mark, where are we going to be flying? Well, I haven't quite decided that yet because I'm not quite sure what will Marie kind of be cool with, tolerate, and all that. I want to go to Jupiter. Hey, Jeff, Timothy, can you tell me something? Is this grizzly, like, angry? Or is that just, like, the raw, primitive, wild beast? Because if this, Marie, I'm sorry, I'm talking about you, but Marie, if you're, like, really angry all the time, I don't think we're gonna be able to, like, control the rocket. Okay, Marie, just calm down. We're in a closed space, and you're a grizzly, and it's a candy cane rocket. Why are you upset? Okay, all right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave you two, Marie, and you, Timothy, here, and I'm gonna go down and say hello to the guests, and you two can have a little conversation and just kind of like sort through what we're gonna do, when we're gonna take off, where we're gonna go, how long we're gonna be in space, how we're going to maintain the structural integrity of a candy cane rocket if there's a grizzly in the center of it. So you see that I have my hands full, because the grizzly is like strange to me, because I I think a grizzly is just like supposed to be really calm, but a grizzly in a candy cane rocket in LA, having flown in a jet from Anchorage, he's probably got some jet lag, not used to that, gone through the metal detector, seeing all these people in the line who are afraid of it, not quite knowing what to do. Your friend is neurotic. Yeah, he's kind of crazy like me. All these humans are neurotic. Yes, kind of neurotic. You're right. I don't think I'm gonna be able to go to the moon with that guy, or to Jupiter, or to Pluto. Well, you just did learn about the planets last week. I just want to eat salmon. Well, we can bring some salmon. I don't know where. The rocket's kind of small. I will be the first grizzly bear from outer space. Yes, Marie, you will. And that's something to be proud of. You know, we're all kind of new to this experience, you know. We're all kind of new. I feel better every day. I feel like I have a lot to live for now. And we're on the cutting edge. And only just 13 years ago, I was a pathetic actor in New York and Hollywood. Sitting here trying to get roles, taking crumbs from the table. I feel that way now. I feel that way. Well, you're gonna be a celebrity. You really will be able to get anything that you want. No one's seen a grizzly like you. I feel really bound up in this space. It's tight in here. It's tight. I just want to break everything down. These humans, they build these little places, and it's not very spacious for me. Listen, sweetie. I appreciate you, but you're gonna have to calm down. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. I get you. I get you, sweetie. Mary, you are so precious to me. And we have this relationship where we can communicate. And I can sense that you have that with him, too. I can feel the connection that you guys have. There's a kind of language that's developing between you. I think it's really wonderful. I think that maybe you can just relax a little bit and enjoy this opportunity to be among the humans and to study them, because I think you could grow. You could grow so much. And I know that growth is important to you, just like growth was important to me, which is why I went to Alaska, why I went into the wilderness, how you and I became friends, and why I brought you back to be in the candy cane rocket, to experience the candy cane mansion, and to meet my buddy. My buddy. Don't want you to judge him too much, because he is such a sweetheart. We have been through a lot together. We both hit rock bottom, and we both rebuilt ourselves, and it's not anything that I take lightly. So if you could, just be less judgmental toward my human friend. Mark is a great guy. I just want my salmon. I want my salmon. I want my salmon. And I'll be good. Okay, everybody. It's great to have you here. I think that we have a very, very large line today. 3 very, very large lines. I have 2 special guests inside. And right now they're getting acquainted with the candy cane rocket on the back launching pad. And for them, they're going to need a little bit of time. A little bit of understanding. It's just a little time to get acquainted with the rocket. And meanwhile, I think you all, well, maybe not all of you, but most of you could actually take a tour through the Candy Cane Mansion. I was just going to ask you to stay clear of the rocket in the backyard. All right, everybody, come on in. Oh, wow. So anyways, what I'd like to tell everyone is that we have 3 rooms up here in the front, okay? And they're pretty basic. It's like a foyer, really. We have huge columns, as you can see, huge candy cane. I'm sorry. Could you not piss on the candy cane, please? Ma'am, could you tell your young son to stop pissing on the candy cane? Thank you very much. People lick that. And now people are not going to be licking that because you're pissing on it. Okay? So stop pissing on the candy cane, please, ma'am, please. Could you get your son to stop peeing? That would be great. Thank you. You're going to have to leave. So anyways, everybody, the Candy Cane Mansion. I'm going to give you a little bit of an introduction while we're here in the foyer. All right? Give my friend and my new grizzly friend time to get acquainted with the advanced technology on the rocket launching pad. This wonderful Candy Cane Mansion was developed several years ago by yours truly. I was in a really difficult place in my life and I wanted to create something spectacular. I needed a goal. I needed something to lift my spirits, right? I had a really close friend. Well, he wasn't so close at the time, but he decided after he lost out on an audition, the same audition that I was involved in, he would go up to Alaska and help out the bears. And I thought that was really wonderful and laudable, and I was wondering what I could do to do the same in my own way. This is what I came up with, and I think you can all agree that it is a spectacular spectacle, its own magnificent miracle. If you agree, raise your hands, give me sparkle fingers. Sparkle fingers, everybody! Oh, wonderful. So, we all know what happens in our lives when the fantasy evaporates and we're left with nothing but our dashed hopes. So, what I would like for you all to realize is that this is simply a symbol, right? This is an emblem of your higher self, a token of what you can achieve if you believe. It's that simple. Yes. And I think you can also understand another thing, which is I have a friend, Timothy Treadwell, who's back with his grizzly, Marie. Right? Wow! How did that happen? How did this man go from being an alcoholic and a heroin addict to taming a grizzly, bringing the grizzly back, taking the grizzly through the airport and on a plane and bringing it here into the Candy Cane Mansion? It's the same process, and it's a process that I will never tire of sharing with everybody. If you're defeated by one aspect of culture, create another one. Even more majestic, even more inspiring. Don't you ever settle for less, right? Because one fantasy can replace another fantasy. And when we can live inside that fantasy, because this is the dream economy, the dream society, the dream reality. All we have to do is apply our imagination liberally. Am I right? Sparkle fingers. Sparkles. So tell me, What is your dream? How many of you would like to fly to the moon in a candy cane rocket with a celebrity, a grizzly, and yours truly? Give me sparkle fingers. Sparkles. We do live in very depressing times. Let's not joke about this. Let's be honest about this. We're only going to get over it collectively if we harness our natural capacity to rise from defeat, to lift ourselves up by the bootstraps. When everything has crashed down around us, what do? We believe. We believe in ourselves, right? We're responsible for our own elevation. It is true. It is true. Now, I would like to take one person to the moon with me. I would like to take one person to beyond the solar system. It's going to be the four of us. Me, Timothy, a grizzly, and you. You've got to believe, just like we believed, right? Castles made of sand are still castles, right? If you're going to go to the clouds, you might need to go in a cloud. The candy cane rocket is the best cloud. It's one that I came up with right here. So, we have a lot of children here today. What do you think? Yes, you, the one who peed on the candy cane. What do you think? Would you like to go? Would you like to go to the moon? Yeah, I would. You would, wouldn't you? Well, tell me something. What do you believe in more than anything? Do you think that if you believe in what? That you'll be a basketball player or a football player, that you'll become a basketball player or a football player or anything? See? You've got the right attitude, kid. I'll think about it. Just don't pee on my candy cane anymore, okay? Anybody else? How is everybody enjoying the foyer? It's wonderful. So let me tell you about my philosophy. I've already discussed rising from the ashes, being the phoenix. There's one thing that I haven't shared with you yet. I'm about to go in a candy cane rocket with a grizzly and a dear friend. We're going to go to the moon, to the other planets, and leave the solar system and explore the galaxy, and we're going to do it on faith. You see, faith is the rocket fuel. I don't know how that candy cane rocket is going to lift off the ground. I don't know if that grizzly's going to eat us alive. I don't know what any of the controls do on the candy cane rocket. When I go into the rocket, I visualize everything. I see everything vividly, with painstaking detail, with such an enormous degree of specificity that the rocket flies. The rocket lifts. Because I imagine it, because I have faith. Because my conviction is unassailable. Sparkle fingers. There's nothing I can't do. Indeed, right now I'm holding that rocket together. The glue is my mind. I'm a master at visualization. When I hit rock bottom, I learned that visualization was the only way to rescue myself. Right now I can see them in the rocket, looking around, trying to figure out the controls, the buttons, the screens, the lights, all the fancy stuff. The grizzly doing grisly things, thinking about salmon, and my dear friend Timothy Treadwell, he's like a buoy in the lake after the boat has passed. He's up and down, looking around, trying to figure things out. And I'll just assure him, hey, Timothy. Yeah, Mark. It's okay. I got this. Give me some sparkle fingers, Timothy. Timothy's a great guy. Hey, Mark. When are we leaving for the moon? I can't wait to get there. Do you have any spacesuits for us? Are we going to go outside of the rocket, or are we protected from outer space? And are there any salmon on the moon? I want salmon. Timothy, will there be salmon on the moon? Gee, Marie, I don't think so. What will I eat on the moon? I'll eat you. Marie, that's not a good joke. You're gonna scare the kid. What kid? The kid who's coming with us. Mark said there's gonna be a kid. I don't think I can handle a kid. Does it taste like salmon? Marie, stop it with the jokes already. So you see, everybody, we've got a lot to deal with. I'm going to have a grizzly with a kid in a closed space, going toward the moon. And I'm going to have to make it all cohere with this. But that's what I realized when I was defeated. I needed this to bring me up out of the mud. I needed this. All of you need this because all of you had the same predicament that I had. I went to rock bottom. That was actually a tragedy and a fortunate blessing at the same time because many people, most of them I'm afraid, don't go to the rock bottom. And therefore they don't realize their incredible capacity, their extraordinary potential, because they've not been so devastated and defeated so as to realize and wake up how extraordinary they are. Right? We are each angels. Give me sparkle fingers if you know that you're an angel. Hello! Sparkle fingers, everybody. How many are here in this lobby right now? I think there's probably about 50 of you. How many of you before this moment knew about sparkle fingers? Give me fingers. Oh, I would say a good 40-50% of you actually knew about sparkle fingers before this moment. So, did you know that sparkle fingers are what built this mansion? And that sparkle fingers are the ones that picked up every single candy cane and put every single candy cane in its place. And sparkle fingers were the ones that put all the little cement and glue between each candy cane. How many of you knew that sparkle fingers were the answer to all of your problems? And that if you're feeling blue, if you can't figure out your life, give yourself some sparkle fingers and you'll feel right as rain.